Hi everyone, Chris Rolfs here with Refactor U, and in this section we're going to be talking about Sublime Text. So as a developer, you'll be spending a lot of time in your development environment. We'll be using Sublime Text 3, which is currently in beta but is solid enough to be working with, as our editor for all of our code. So if you go to Google and just do a search for Sublime Text 3, or just go to sublimetext.com/3, here you can download the correct version for your operating system. We're obviously using OS X 10.9, so we'll download the proper version for that. With Sublime Text installed, let's take a look at the editor and see how we might get around while we're editing our files. Once Sublime Text is loaded, we'll be greeted with this blank screen. What we can see off the bat are our tabs up here will show which windows we have open. We'll be able to see what our current indentation setting is, the syntax highlighting of the current document, where we are in the document, and we have this mile-high view that we'll see more of when we get into the actual code. Let's take a look at how we'll open files and projects in Sublime Text. I've got a basic project here, which is just some boilerplate code for HTML5. And there's a couple ways that I can start to work with these files. So I'm in Finder right now, and I've navigated to my folder. And the first thing I can do is I can go inside the folder, and if I want to edit a specific file, I can either right-click it and open with Sublime Text, or I can drag it into my dock and release it on Sublime Text. This will open the file in Sublime Text, and I can start to edit the code. I can also select multiple files and drag them both into Sublime Text. And this will open multiple tabs for me to view. One of the best ways to open up a project in Sublime Text is to actually drag the containing folder into the application. And you'll notice that it opens up this sidebar here, which allows me to browse all the files in my project without having to switch back to Finder. I can also create new files here by right-clicking on a folder and choosing New File, and I can create new folders by choosing New Folder. One of the really cool features of Sublime Text is its own package manager. This allows you to install plugins, new syntax highlighting, and different settings for the editor itself. Installing package control is really easy. All you got to do is go to the package control website, select this bit here for Sublime Text 3, copy the whole entire thing, and switch back to Sublime Text. Once inside of Sublime Text, go to the View menu and choose Show Console. This will bring up the Python editor for Sublime Text itself. Paste in that code you copied and press Enter to run it. And this will go up and download the entire package control system. Now that package control is installed, you can hit the shortcode Command-Shift-P to bring up the hot menu. This is fuzzy searching, so I can start to type install, and this will bring me to the package control install package, or I can just type package control, and it will bring me a list of all the options I have for my files. Let's say I want to install syntax highlighting for a new file format. I'll hit Command-Shift-P to bring up the menu and start typing install, then hit Enter to switch to the install menu. This may take a moment to load because it has to load down all the packages. And let's say I want to install syntax highlighting for Jade. So I'll do a search for Jade. I'll find the one that I like, select it, and down here in the bottom you'll see it did a little bit of installing and then said package Jade is successfully installed. This means that I now have Jade syntax highlighting listed in my syntax highlighting bar here. I'd like to show you guys just a couple of the common hotkeys that we'll be using while we're editing in Sublime Text. So the first thing I want to show you is the multi-line editing. In any other editor, we have our cursor here, and as I use the arrow keys and different keys, I can start to move around in the document. I can also click to start editing, double click to select. And this is really helpful, but one thing that we do have in Sublime Text that's very nice is they have the idea of multiple cursors. So I can click here and hold the Command key and then click somewhere else, and then click somewhere else, and then click somewhere else. And now I have multiple cursors. Another benefit of multiple cursors is selecting similar text and editing all of that text at the same time. Let's say that I decide that I want to change my meta tags here in my header. So what I'll do is I'll select the first one that I'd like to edit and then hit Command D, and this will select any other instances in order. Now I can change these. We also have access to Sublime Text command palette by hitting Command-Shift-P. We looked at this a little bit in the Package Manager lesson. Here we have access to all of the commands within Sublime Text, including the ones that we've installed through Package Manager. This uses fuzzy searching so we can start to type parts of what we want to look for, and it will find those selections. So if I want to set the syntax to HTML, I can start to type HTM and it will find that as an option. Sublime Text also has a go-to option. By hitting Command P, I can start to type the file that I want to go to, and it will load up that file as well. Really helpful for switching between files within a project, especially if there are a lot of files. Finally, there's the Find command. Command F will allow us to start searching within our document. We also have some other options, including regular expressions, case sensitive, looking for entire words, turning on wrapping, which will search from the top and the bottom of the document, and searching within our current selection. This button here will choose to highlight the results that match our search. So here, as I search for script, we can see that the first instance is highlighted, and it's also called out all the other results that match. By hitting Command Option F, it brings up a similar search menu, but here I also have access to Replace With. So let's say I want to replace all my script tags with div tags. I'll set my selection here, which automatically highlights, and I'll set what I'd like to replace it with here. I can choose to replace one by one, or I can choose to replace all. And by choosing Replace All, it's replaced all my script tags with div tags.